It is a gorgeous Friday afternoon heading into evening here in the Bronx, and we've got baseball for you as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Tampa Bay Rays in the first of three from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with Ken Singleton and Paul O'Neill. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees took 2 out of 3 from the LA Angels of Anaheim, and yesterday it was 6-5. Now, Robinson Cano gave them the lead, but Russell Brandon made a little bit nervous time.
Well, you know, in the 7th inning, the Yankees get an extra out, and that extra out really cost them because Robinson Cano comes up against a tough lefter, bases loaded, 20th home run of the year, 80 for well on his way to 100 RBIs, grand slam, a little curtain call too. Thought the game was over. Mariano's into the 9th. I think everything's just great. Russell Brandon right off the bench, pinch hit, 3-run homer. I mean, if you look at Mariano's reaction here, I think he's just as surprised as we are. But you know what? He ended up getting the last out, his 30th save. All is well when the Yankees go home with a win.
Now, he gets the save, Paul, but a lot of people in New York very nervous about Mariano's last 3 outings. His ERA 13.50. In his previous 9 games, 0.96 with 8 saves. And also look at the opponent's batting average against. 400 in the last 3 games, 206 in the previous 9. And he's also allowed 2 home runs in the last 3. Let's look at tonight's New York lottery pitching matchup. David Price is going to go for the Tampa Bay Rays, 9-10 with a 3.89 ERA. And CC Sabathia for the Yankees, 16-6, 2.81. And Kenny, his last time out against the Red Sox was not his best start.
On Friday night, the Yankees won the opening game of the series at Fenway Park and looked pretty good going into Saturday with CC on the mound. But it didn't work out that way. It took him 94 pitches to get through 6 innings. He allowed 9 hits and 7 runs, 6 strikeouts. That's pretty good. 1 walk, but the Red Sox really tattooed him on the way to a 10-4 win over the New York Yankees and CC Sabathia.
Now, his mound opponent, as we mentioned, is David Price. He's got great stuff, one of the better pitchers in baseball. But this year so far against the Yankees, Price has been wrong. We'll tell you why next on Yes. Away from the first pitch of the Yankees and the Rays, David Price against the Yankees in his career, 11 games, 10 starts, 3-2, 3.97, 68 innings, 28 walks, 52 strikeouts, 7 home runs allowed. But this season, 0-1 with a 5.71 in 3 starts. Welcome back to Yankees baseball. We're the Purple Brothers, Michael Kay and Paul O'Neill.
Don't adjust your colors. Yeah.
Absolutely. Ken Singleton does not have purple on. He'll rejoin us in just a moment. Price is a really good pitcher, but this season he seems like he's struggling against the Yankees a bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's pitching for a team that does not score runs. David Price is a legitimate #1 starter. He's 25 years old out of Vanderbilt, #1 pick. He helped them get into the playoffs in the World Series. He has that kind of stuff. This year against the Yankees with over a 5 ERA, very surprising. But the Yankees can put up some numbers, and they've done it this year against Price.
They really have. A lot of his pitches are up, and we all remember the fact that he gave up Derek Jeter's 3,000th hit. It was a home run right here at at Yankee Stadium. So the Yankees took 2 out of 3 from the Angels. They start this 3-game set against the Tampa Bay Rays. Lineups, first pitch, baseball coming up next right here on Yes. By Dunkin' Donuts. To get dunked, go to getdunkd.com. By T-Mobile's family plans with unlimited data, talk, and text. Step up to nationwide 4G. And by Strike Back. That's the explosive new series only on Cinemax. Well, about ready for baseball here at the stadium. A beautiful Friday evening. The beginning of a 3-game set. The end of the homestand for the New York Yankees before they go on the road for 3 in Kansas City and 4 against the Minnesota Twins. Here's the Rays starting lineup presented by HP. It's Jennings, Damon, and Longoria at the top. Zobrist, Upton, and Rodriguez in the middle. Kochman, Shopik, and Johnson on the bottom of the order. And let's do it. Here in the Bronx is CeCe. Delivers the first pitch, and Desmond Jennings swings and fouls it back, and we are underway. Sabathia, 16-6. Verlander has 17 wins after his victory yesterday. All of his numbers are very good. In a moment, we will give you the Jeep Pitchers scatter report. The rookie Desmond Jennings hitting .333 since being called up. Swing and a miss, off speed. And the Jeep Pitcher scatter report, Paul.
Well, start a new streak. He had won 9 out of 10 decisions going into Fenway, where they kind of slapped him around, which he's not accustomed to. Plenty of length. I mean, he's averaging 7 1/3 innings, so it's kind of a night off for the bullpen. And get even. He's trying to even up Justin Verlander to tie the lead in American League wins with 17 if he wins tonight.
Change up. Jennings swings and misses. 1 away. Yankees defense brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Gardner, Granderson, and Jones left to right. Nick Swisher's the DH tonight. In the infield, Nunez, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira third to first. Russell Martin behind the plate. And Karsten Charles Sabathia on the mound.
A couple of good change-ups to Desmond Jennings, who, as Michael told you, has been hit pretty well since being recalled from the minor leagues on July 23rd.
Here's Johnny Damon. Rays just had a good homestand. They were 7-3. 4-game sweep of the Royals finished up the homestand, but Johnny did not. 6 for 39 in that homestand, so he's hitting .262 overall. There's a strike. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. It's a gorgeous evening, as we've mentioned. Let's get some specifics. 81 degrees, 40% humidity, not much wind, and the forecast is for clear skies. And the 0-2. Grounded to first. Teixeira will beat Damon to the bag for the second out.
Yeah, Michael, you're talking about Damon not hitting well on the homestand. He's just .229 at home this year, but .295 on the road.
IOTV offers incredible HD picture and sound. Get the best in HD free. IOTV is the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. You know what's strange is that's been the Rays' way. Yeah. I mean, they can't score at home, but they score on the road.
Well, you think about it, Johnny Damon's been with so many teams, it's like a home game every night for him.
Here's Evan Longoria. There's a strike. Longoria has 51 ribbies in his last 53 games, but in that time he's hitting just 222. That's not a Longoria type of average. He's a better hitter than that.
It tells you that he's hitting with runners in scoring position, though.
There's a strike. Early on, CC looks locked in.
Yeah, he does. He's got good stuff. There's no doubt about it. Early on, Evan Longoria was touted as the next superstar, and he's got that type of talent defensively, offensively. See what he does 0-2.
Does not chase the high fastball, 96 miles an hour. CC 9-6 in 22 starts with a 3.0 ERA against Tampa Bay. And the big lefty deals. Right back over the mound, but playing him perfectly was Cano, and they get Longoria a 10-pitch, 1-2-3 innings. So the Rays go down in order. It's the Rays nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. It's David Price. And these are the Yankees in order that will face David Price. The captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter, leads off. Batting second, playing center field, Curtis Granderson. Hitting third, first baseman Mark Teixeira. Robinson Cano at second will clean up. Batting fifth and DHing, Nick Swisher. Andrew Jones in right field will bat sixth. The number 7 hitter, catcher Russell Martin. Eduardo Nunez at third will hit eighth. Batting ninth and playing left field, Brett Gardner. Derek Jeter will get a nice hand from the crowd as he prepares to face David Price. 24 starts, 9-10, 3.89, 159 2/3, 144 hits, and about a strikeout per inning. Now, here's a Jeep pitcher scouting report.
History revisited. I mean, last time he was here was a monumental day in Yankee Stadium. Derek Jeter got his 3,000 hit off David Price. A bit surprising. I mean, we think of David Price, dominating pitcher. He's 9-10 this year. Talk about they don't give him much run support. He can rely on number 1. He's a power pitcher, mid-90s fastball, and if he's got a good one, he'll stick with it.
Well, when Jeter faced Price here at the stadium on July 9th, we all know what happened. He got hit in the first inning, and then he hit a home run for his 3,000th hit his next time up. Pitch inside. Just got some news from down in Florida. And talk about somebody who has a flair for the dramatic. Alex Rodriguez playing his first rehab game tonight as a DH. He hits a home run on the first pitch that he sees. Derek Jeter gets a base hit on the second pitch he sees.
So where was that game?
In Dunedin.
Dunedin, Florida.
Yep.
Okay, that's in the Florida State League. So he's got that league mastered.
Yeah. This is Derek Jeter's type of hit. Slap it to left or slap it to right field. You know, you're thinking Dunedin, big league player. Alex Rodriguez coming to the plate. Probably going to give me a courtesy strike, right? Guy throws one down the middle. It's 1-0.
See ya.
Here's Granderson. leads the majors in runs scored and RBIs. And if you look at his numbers, it's not a stretch to talk about MVP with him. Now, his batting average might not be at that level, but if he pushes that up into the 290s or 300, I mean, how could you not think about him as the MVP? You know, one final point about Alex. So he hits a home run in his first at bat on the first pitch. When he came back from the hip surgery in the big leagues, first pitch he saw at Camden Yards, he hit for a home run.
Now, Granderson leads the major leagues in what, runs scored and RBIs right now, right?
Yep.
All right. Only 5 times in the past 50 years has a player done that, led in both categories. Some pretty big names, as you might expect.
I was going to say, you've got some hometown or some big names. Yeah.
Hank Aaron.
Know him.
Don Baylor.
Yeah.
Sammy Sosa.
Oh, yeah.
Alex Rodriguez.
That's 5 for 5. I know all those guys. Right?
Sosa did it twice.
Yeah. Baylor, Sosa, and A-Rod were MVPs that year, the year that they did. I don't know how Hank Aaron didn't win.
Swing and a miss. So Granderson down on strikes.
David Price, you talk about him. I mean, he is a true #1 starter. Great stuff. Good fastball. He's got a slider. Tough matchup for a lefty. I mean, when you face a left-handed pitcher, it kind of adds velocity to it because you don't pick up the ball as well.
The MVP in 1963 in the National League was Sandy Koufax, pitcher, 25-5.
Here's Teixeira. 1 hit in his last 12 at bats. Lines that one to Kochman off his glove. He'll flip the Price covering. They get Teixeira as Jeter moves to second.
Koufax worked to a 1.88, 306 strikeouts.
You know, Teixeira can't be mad. As many hits as he takes away from people over at first base, every once in a while you got to figure, you know, you deserve one. It looks like Kochman was almost leaning back to go back to first base.
Looked like he was trying to make a kick save, too.
Some leg pads.
You see how quickly Price got over the first, too. Good athletic play.
1963. That's the year I was born. Sandy Koufax was dealing.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's somebody you didn't want to face, I'll tell you.
No.
Left-handed.
I've heard some stories from some old players that played against him that just was not fair at times.
Here's Robinson Cano. Grand slam yesterday, 81 ribbies. Pitch outside. Hey, tonight's closed captioning brought to you by Verizon Wireless.
No, had a nice series against the Angels. 7 for 12.
They weren't singles either.
There's ground ball to short. Elliott Johnson to Kochman, and that will do it. No runs a hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. We've played 1. There's no score right here on Yes. And here are your choices. Was it one, the Manny suspension and the retirement? I would think that's the biggest surprise. They didn't plan for that. Shields with 8 complete games. Price with a sub-500 record. Longoria with a 230 average. Also a pretty big surprise. And this one, Farnsworth's success as a closer. You can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply, and we'll tell you how you vote a little bit later on.
Now, Michael, if I'm not mistaken, they had a Manny bobblehead night planned.
Really?
They had to cancel it.
There's a lot of bobbleheads in a warehouse somewhere in there. Can you change the look of those things, make them look like somebody else?
Yeah, you can get them cheap right now.
They all kind of look like everybody else. But if it's got the dreadlocks on, I guess that's got to be Manny. Unless you have a Bob Marley night. Because he's got those dreads. There's a strike.
Very surprising. Threw out a music reference.
Well, why are you surprised?
You didn't know my thing. All right, I'll never let you live it down. 2.5 weeks, I still can't believe you didn't get it.
His music scatter reports. The 1-1. Zobrist takes low. You know, you look at the Rays, they're 63-54. They've won 10 of their last 14. A good season. And they are where they are, though, because of their pitching. Their offense has been really, really tough for their pitching because they just don't score many runs. And they miss Carl Crawford, and Carlos Pena also gave them some home runs as well. As we talk about the Rays, let's look at the scouting report brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, tough luck. You were talking about it, Michael. 63-54 will put you in contention in a lot of divisions, but not the American League East. That puts you in 3rd place. Red hot. I mean, they just came off of sweeping the Royals. And have a staff, I mean, their starters are combined solid 3.6 ERA, so they get good enough pitching to win. They just do not score enough runs. And you look down the list, you've got guys that are capable of doing more, and it just has not happened.
Well, one guy's having a good year is Zobrist. He is second to Granderson in extra base hits. One less than Granderson.
Swing and a miss. Zobrist down on strikes. Well, the Rays team batting average is .244, and that's 26th in Major League Baseball.
Let's see what CC features on this pitch to pick up his 2nd strikeout of the night. Looks like a breaking ball. Yeah, it did. It was.
You see the spin out of the hand, and as a hitter, you pick up that spin, and it takes about halfway there before it like catches, and then it starts to break. Look at that. What, snake skin or something? CC sporting the cool shoes tonight. You have those on in Fenway the other night?
I don't think he did.
I don't think so.
See, that goes right into my scouting report. Starting to start a new streak. You know, you get some new shoes.
And that's from the Jordan collection. The 1-0. You're always stylishly dressed, Paul. Do you wear sneakers?
No, I wear tennis shoes. I don't wear sneakers.
You don't use the word sneakers?
No, we don't say sneakers.
Well, do you wear tennis shoes when you're not playing tennis?
A lot.
Okay, so they're sneakers. Grounded to short. Jeter with a tough hop. And he'll retire Upton for the 2nd out.
Yeah, the ball had a lot of overspin. You can see Derek shaking his head. There's that patented wow. Every time he has to field a tough ground ball. B.J. Upton actually hits this one pretty well and had the overspin that forces that hop up until his belt buckle, stays with it, throws out this. Here it is in Yesmo. It's a lot easier to make the play in Yesmo.
Boy, it seems like you have a lot of time in Yesmo.
Yeah.
Make the adjustment. But, you know, the thing that you watch, even in slow motion, as an infielder, you always keep your glove down. You can react up. Never can you start up and react down. You're just not quick enough.
With Sean Rodriguez. There's a strike.
I always love the coaches like in Little League. Stay in front of the ball and then let it hit you. It's like, well,
what?
No.
I got a glove.
Michael, I can see you just staying in front of it, just taking it off the chin. Huh?
It's a big chin. Here's the 0-1.
I think you're a pretty good fielder.
I was not a bad fielder. Couldn't hit.
Yeah. You could pick it, though.
I could pick it at first. Count 0-2 on Rodriguez, who has 3 hits in his last 29 at-bats. Very versatile, can play all over the field, but not hitting as well as he hits in spring training. Always does great in spring training. The 0-2. Chopped to short. Nice hop for Jeter this time. He gets Sean Rodriguez Mancisi is perfect for 2. 6 up, 6 down. We got to go to the bottom of the second. No score. Homestand ends with 2 more games against Tampa Bay. Tomorrow's on Fox, but Yankee extra innings right after that on Yes, and then 105 on Yes on Sunday. Then the Yankees hit the road. They spend most of the next month and a half, or the majority of it, on the road. 3 in KC, and then 4 in Minnesota, or really in Minneapolis. Looks like a little Hawaiian convention there.
He just got off a cruise ship.
Yeah. Shot Manhattan, go to the game, get back on the boat. Huh?
That's pretty cool.
The little guy has a little Hawaiian shirt. Caribbean. You could wear those with tennis shoes.
That's right. I suppose you drink soda too, right?
Yes, and you drink pop.
I do drink pop.
You're more of a New Yorker now than an Ohioan anyway.
Is that right?
Oh, come on.
I still say water. I don't say water. Huh? Officially put you.
Different parts of the country, we call them sneakers here. We call them tennis shoes. Our former colleague David Justice used to call them gym shoes.
Gym shoes, okay.
I'm not wearing gym shoes. I'm wearing
smell.
sneakers.
You're wearing sneakers too?
Yeah.
Of course, we're from New York. We drink water. The 0-2. 1 and 2. I'm told that in Europe they call them runners.
But you don't run, so you can't wear them.
That's a shot for no reason.
A shot in the stands. So you just go right into it.
We have some of the best runners around here. I think we got to admit that.
That's Audrey. She's not a runner, though.
No, Mark,
she's our stage man.
Mark
she got stage fright. Did you see her face? She got stage fright right there.
Mark just left. Mark just left.
Oh,
He's
Mark, okay.
And he was in full flight.
Swing and a miss.
You see David Price when he has that overpowering fastball, then you're ahead of that breaking ball. Good pitch to Nick Swisher.
Take a look at the Rays defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. In the outfield, Jennings, Upton, and Zobrist. That's left to right. Infield, Longoria, Johnson, Rodriguez, and Kochman. Third to first. Kelly Shopik behind the plate. David Price is on the mound.
See David Price, you see that release on the side of the seam. That's kind of a slider. Again, that's something. The slider doesn't like stop and break. It kind of just cuts the whole way. Different rotation.
You know, it's his stuff. It's kind of hard to believe he's lost his last 3 decisions and 4 of his last 5.
Andrew Jones getting a start against the left-hander, takes outside. Andrew 8 for his last 26. And a strike.
You know, Michael, it was about a month ago, and Brett Gardner was really hot, and we were kind of surprised he wasn't playing against some of the left-handers. This is the type of left-hander that, you know, you take a night off and you think, you know, this is a tough left-hander. I mean, this guy right here matches up against lefties and righties. But if you're going to give Andrew Jones a spot start here and there, this is a good guy. A lot of fastballs. Andrew Jones, a fastball hitter. Brett Gardner has to realize on days off, these are true days off when you take one off against a guy like Price.
But they're making him play against Price, batting ninth. They dropped him down in the order, and he's 1 for 8 career against Price. Now, how about the shift that Madden has on against Jones? You should see this for lefty batters, but he's got 3 infielders on the left side for a righty batter. 2-2.
There's no shift effective enough for what Andrew Jones is thinking when he gets up there, though. When he comes up there, he's thinking about hitting the ball in the seats.
Yeah, and he's thinking about hitting a fastball. We've talked about he's a fastball hitter. Doesn't matter how many breaking balls you throw him, he's still looking dead red fastball. You know what, Kenny? He still catches up to it, too.
Yeah, Price holds left-handed hitters to a 178 batting average. So they haven't been really hitting them that well.
Breaking ball? Not a breaking ball. It might have been two-seam sinker because it was 90 miles an hour and Jones down looking. Third strikeout for Price.
This is a slider. Sees his hand outside the baseball, and he's going to kind of pull that seam down. But you can still throw that slider, you know, close to 90.
Back door.
Rotation.
Yeah, back door. Andrew might be thinking inside, but well, he knew it too. Just decided, well, I'll go back and sit down.
There's Russell Martin. 96 miles an hour inside, 1-0.
Russell Martin, I was watching batting practice. He had a very good session today. Hit the ball very well.
Popped up. David Price wasn't pitching, BP.
He wasn't.
That one's just over the screen.
You got that right.
You know, a lot of guys just go through the motions of batting practice, you know, to get ready for the game. I took a lot of stock in batting practice. I don't know about you, Kenny,
yeah,
but if I felt good in batting practice, I felt good going into the game. And you're right, Mike. David Price doesn't throw BP, but your mechanics, when you have a good batting practice session, go right into the game.
Although I got to admit, sometimes you had a poor batting practice and you had a good game.
Oh yeah. I mean, it can all change. You're confident, you get a hit your first time up, and then you think, oh, now I'm rolling. I feel good again.
Grounded to short. Johnson to Kochman, and that will do it. Yankees go down in order 1, 2, 3. There's our runner, Mark, or our sneaker. I'm not sure. by Grey Goose, the world's best tasting vodka, and by the new definition of world class, the 2011 Buick LaCrosse. Well, we go to the third inning here at the stadium. Both pitchers look sharp. CC has faced 6, he's retired 6, and now the bottom third of the order on the Lincoln scoreboard. You see the Yankees have just 1 hit, and that, the only base runner in this game. That was a leadoff single in the first by Derek Jeter. And here is Casey Kotzman, who is having an incredible bounce back year, hitting .337.
And he has been hot lately too. Last 13 games, 8 multi-hit games.
Now Kotzman last year hit .217 for Seattle. There's only one player in Major League history to increase his batting average by at least 120 points from one season to the next while having at least 400 plate appearances each year. Oh, that's driven deep to right field. If it's fair, it's gone. It is gone. See ya. A home run by Casey Kotzman into the second deck. And Tampa Bay leads 1-0.
I'll tell you what, you talk about being quick inside. That ball's up and in. CC Sabathia against a lefty. You said it, Michael. He is having a year, a bounce back year. And you talk about this up and in, misses with the pitch, but I tell you what, that's not even a strike. Once in a while, when you open up as a lefty, kind of puts it right in the wheelhouse for you.
He said he's been hot. He's 22 for his last 52 now, just fair down the right field line. It's only the 3rd home run that CC's given up here at Yankee Stadium this season. And the first one hit by a player without the first name Adrian.
You know the important thing here, Kenny, and you know it as much as I do, a lot of times right there, a pitch up, and then the only way you hit it hard is to foul it, to pull it foul. Casey Kotzman keeps his hands through the ball, keeps that ball fair, and that's the big difference. I mean, that ball is up and in, probably off the plate.
The only players that, other 2 players that hit home runs off CC here this year, Adrian Beltre and Adrian Gonzalez. Yo, Adrian.
Yo, Adrian. Michael, now, Kotzman had a problem with his eyes last year. I talked to Dave Martinez, who's their bench coach, and he had a, I don't know if it was a bacterial or a virus of some sort where he had problems with his eyes, and they've got it all fixed. Obviously, it's turned things around for him, but a lot of people didn't know it, and he fought through it. Kind of a guy that you root for. He plays hard, does everything he can out there, and he put together a tremendous year.
Very good defensively, and they were hoping that he could take over for Carlos Pena, who left as a free agent. He's certainly done that. And I told you that only one player in Major League history has bumped his average at least 120 points. You have to go all the way back to 1917 and 1918. George Burns batted .225 for the 17 Tigers and .352 for the 18 Philadelphia A's.
George Burns played baseball too.
Yeah, he was a very funny player.
You know, the year he turned it around, that's the year he met Gracie Allen.
The 1-2. Paul, you were part of a guy who really turned it around from year to year. Talk about buying low and hoping it goes up like a stock. Scott Brosius hit .203 in '97 for the Oakland A's and hit .300 for the Yankees in '98.
Every once in a while, you just catch that change of scenery where everything turns. And
that one's driven deep to left field. Gardner back, looking up. See ya, a long home run for Kelly Shopping. And the Rays lead 2-0 on back-to-back bombs by Kotzman and Shopping.
I'll tell you one thing. I mean, we make fun of State Farm Bill out there. That went above the State Farm sign. And again, these balls are hit. And CC Sabathia, I mean, he had it last outing. He gave up some home runs, and so far this inning,
this looks like the changeup, and Kelly Shopping's going to break an 0 for 14 with this swing.
CC Sabathia, he wants to throw that changeup down, even out of the zone. The ball ended up just out over the plate. And, you know, when you hang a changeup, it ends up just being a very mediocre fastball. That ball was absolutely crushed.
First time this year that CC has allowed 2 home runs in one start, and here he is back-to-back. Count 2-0 to Elliott Johnson. Making sure the laces are tight. Shopping knows CeCe. He was former catcher with the Cleveland Indians. And now his present catcher, settling him down. Shopping came into that at bat hitting 175. Now, he did have 6 home runs, but you would figure that matchup favors CeCe Sabathia, but Shopping won it.
Shopping, good fastball hitter. CeCe trying to throw him a changeup down and away, and again, when you miss, that pitch right there, 95 at the knees, that's not missing. That's getting ahead. And you know, when you hang that changeup, it just gives a player that's not a great off-speed hitter a chance to hit it.
Count 2-2.
What you say though, Kenny, from when CeCe Sabathia broke in the league, he's always had a good fastball. He kind of harnesses his breaking ball to be much better. But the difference today and 5-6 years ago is his changeup. It's made him a complete pitcher.
Made him more effective and made his other pitches better too, like that.
As Johnson down looking. CeCe has 16 wins. He's certainly on the Major League Baseball League leaderboard. Let's take a look. That is brought to you by the HP Touchpad. Everybody on. Verlander became the first 17-game winner yesterday with a victory, a much-needed victory, by the way, over the Indians. And then there's Sabathia with 16 and Roy Halladay with 15. Those are 3 brand names on the top of that list. Here's Desmond Jennings. Jennings, a first-round pick in 2006. The 10th pick of the first round by the Devil Rays. Well, now the Rays.
Not that the Rays were going to re-sign Carl Crawford because he was going to make all kinds of money. They just couldn't afford him. But they knew that Jennings was in the minor leagues and he was going to be the replacement. Jennings has the speed like Crawford did. The fact that in the minor leagues, Jennings stole 188 bases in 222 attempts, which works out to 85% of the time he made it.
Now let me make a correction. He was the 10th round pick, not the 10th pick in the first round. He was a 10th round pick, and they gave him the most money they've ever given a 10th round pick, $150,000, because they thought that he would go to college and play football. He came out of junior college at Iowanteba Community College in Mississippi. And he strikes out for the second time against CeCe, because they don't have pitchers like CeCe at Iowanteba College.
When you look at guys who've been in junior college, talking about football, you're talking about good athletes that are becoming good baseball players. It's a tough pitch to hit there, but since he's been called back up, Kenny, we talked about his stolen base. I think he's led all of baseball in that time, a number of stolen bases, and I mean, he's hit the ball well.
He can run.
Comes into the game, it started the game hitting 333, so he's one of the positives offensively for the Rays.
It was Johnny Damon.
Yeah, Michael, if they do have pitchers like CeCe down there, they won't be there long.
That's right. He was recruited by Alabama to play football. And at the JUCO college, he was All-American and wide receiver. So baseball is kind of just his hobby.
Well-paying hobby.
Yeah. That one's driven deep to right field. Going back, Jones looking up. See ya. A shocking 3 home runs in 1 inning against CeCe Sabathia, and the Rays lead 3-0.
I'll tell you what, every once in a while, Johnny Damon, I think as a left-handed hitter, just cheats, looks in. That's 96 miles an hour. Again, might be in off the plate. Fastball grip, 4-seamer. Just opens that front hip, and when you do that, it makes that inside pitch very hittable. But again, kept it fair, didn't hook it foul.
And it's Johnny's first extra base hit in 15 games.
Here's Longoria. Pitch is low. Here's what CC looked like.
That's a pitch up and in. You just do not expect that ball to be hit out. I think CC Sabathia is thinking, you know, that pitch shouldn't be hit. It's almost a pitch that gets you off the plate.
Ground ball in the hole. Backhanded by Jeter. The jump throw to first. Not in time. Longoria beat it out. Infield single.
It's the first hit the Rays have had that stayed in the ballpark.
We almost look forward to this ball. Derek Jeter has made this play so many times. Can do it blindfolded, but clearly safe at first.
We'll look this up, but it can't be many times that CC's ever given up 3 home runs in an inning. Not with his stuff.
I was going to throw that out there, but I didn't want to put it under pressure. Has he ever given up?
It's the first time he's allowed 3 home runs in a game as a Yankee, but the 7th time in his career in a game. I'm wondering in an inning.
Yeah, I'm talking about 1 inning. Slider. You see CC's now has kind of gone away from that changeup, and he's using that slider as an off-speed pitch with his fastball.
It's a full moon tonight. Strange things are happening. We find out on May 1st, 2007, he gave up 3 home runs against the Blue Jays in the top of the 1st inning.
And if you've given up 3 home runs and you look at the scoreboard, it's only 3-0. You got to feel like, you know, fine things here. I've still got a good chance to win this game.
With Zobrist at the plate, you are looking at the best road hitter in the American League. Getting 333 this year on the road.
I'll tell you what, it doesn't surprise me. That was one of the tougher places for me to see the baseball. Inside, terrible. Could not see the ball. It was dark in there. It was like hitting in a movie theater. You just couldn't see.
Wasn't a good movie, was it?
No.
1-2. That's 118 points higher than his home average of 215. Three and 2 to Zobrist. CC points it to Scherer, who said, hey, I'm going to play behind Longoria on 3-2.
Look at Joe Girardi. This is supposed to be the easy night for Joe Girardi and Larry Rothschild. You didn't think about things usually for the 7th or 8th inning.
Runner goes, 3-2. Is tap 2 to Scherer. That'll do it. But what an inning. Shocking. Casey Kochman started it off. Home run. Then Kelly Shopping. Back-to-back bombs. Then a couple of outs later, Johnny Damon goes yard. 3-0 Rays. dedicated to women. The women's issue of Yankees Magazine includes an exclusive story about the philanthropic work of the Steinbrenner family, features about Yankees assistant GM Gene Afterman, and Senior Vice President of Marketing Debbie Timon. Join stories about Billie Jean King, Jenny Finch, Mia Hamm, and other pioneers. Yankees Magazine is available at Yankee Stadium through 800-GO-YANKS or online at yankees.com/publications. Really good job they did on that issue. And here's Eduardo Nunez.
If I'm not mistaken, you're a picture in that, right?
I do have a picture of that.
You sign that for me?
Lincoln scoreboard 3-0 Tampa Bay. If you like, you want Jody to sign it too? There's a picture of her too.
Absolutely.
See, I write a column in Yankees Magazine. They wanted me to write about the difference in the job now that you're married and what a good woman behind you means.
That you sprinting out of here at night, that's a difference? With food in your hand, delivering it home to your wife? Is that the big difference?
That's the big difference. Deep drive, left center. Upton's there, and he'll make the play for the first out. So Nunez gave it a ride, but Upton ran it down.
See, some center fielders, just you can see their speed. Upton just kind of, gallops around out there. Good defensive outfielder. See him over there.
Yeah. Got a good break, and he kind of glides.
Yeah, makes it look really easy.
Gets to the spot, hauls it in.
Got to bring up Brett Gardner, so David Price has himself a 3-0 lead.
I would think that in B.J. Upton's case, that, your brother's in the major leagues also. There has to be some kind of competition between you and your brother. And B.J. Upton offensively has struggled this year.
Brothers team's in first place. The Diamondbacks.
Well, Justin's winning that battle between the two brothers because there are a lot of rumors that BJ might be dealt before the trade deadline. He said it was distracting to him. But he's the perfect guy that another GM is going to want to take a chance on, change of scenery, maybe unlock all that potential. I mean, remember the great postseason he had when the Tampa Bay Rays went to the World Series. The 2-1. 3-1. Justin Upton this year hitting .302 with 23 homers and 72 ribbies for the surprising Diamondbacks. And Gardner walks. Diamondbacks are playing the Mets tonight, and former Yankee Ian Kennedy, he has the 14-3 record starting against the Mets. Now here's Derek Jeter. Derek singled in the first inning.
So Price gave up number 3,000 to Derek, and he also gave up number 3,034.
And counting.
That one is chopped to short. There's one. There's two. A 6-4-3 double play. And that does it for the Yankees in the third. No runs, no hits, no errors. And because of the DP, nobody left. We go to the fourth. 3-0 Rays. runs in the 3rd inning. And we're going to check in with Kimberly Jones. A lot of stories out there, Kim. I know you've been working these stories, and the biggest story for everybody has been, well, what's the Yankee rotation going to be after Sunday? They've somehow got to turn 6 into 5. What do you know?
Yeah, other than the fact that Joe Girardi's saying today we're pretty committed to going to a 5-man. That's as definitive as they've been, Michael, but that's pretty definitive. If you're wondering if it's a race between A.J. Burnett and Phil Hughes, you might be correct except for this. Brian Cashman told me today about Burnett. I think he's a legitimate starter in the American League East for a pennant contending team. I said, do you look at him as a number 2 starter? He said, no, he's not pitching like a number 2 starter. Brett Gardner's under that one. But he said he should not be talked about the way A.J. Burnett is being talked about. Before I talked to Cashman, he talked to reporters and almost lectured them, Michael, saying, if you don't like how much money he makes, blame me. I gave him the contract, evaluate him on how he's pitching. As for Phil Hughes, who starts tomorrow against the Rays, he almost certainly needs a great outing to help himself, or it could be Phil Hughes going to the bullpen after the weekend. However, everyone I talked to emphasized 2 things to me. No decision's been made, and Ivan Nova is absolutely one of the Yankee 5.
Sean Rodriguez singles to left field. Now, I got to preface this because I do like the guy. I like Brian a lot, and I have a great deal of respect for him. But I don't think that people are judging A.J. Burnett because he makes $16.5 million a year. 2 starts ago, he had a 13-1 lead and didn't get a win. He has never won a game in August for the Yankees. He hasn't won a game since June 29th. Who's judging him against salary? I mean, you're just judging him by performance. I know Brian has to put a positive spin on it, but A.J. has not pitched well.
Well, and Brian did say, and this is a positive spin in a sense, Michael, that he gave up 4 runs in 6 innings against a contending team in the Angels this week in the series here at Yankee Stadium. Now, you and I can argue the Angels don't score a lot of runs, but Brian Cashman clearly is taking the positive approach, positive reinforcement when it comes to being asked many questions about Burnett.
Well, you know, I get why he's doing it. You don't want to certainly kill your own player, and Brian is surrounded by the media before the game, and then, he's given his take on A.J., and obviously that's his take. I'm not sure how many people he convinced for sure. Now, Alex Rodriguez, we got news on him. His first pitch that he sees in a minor league rehab game, he hit for a home run. So what's the timetable on Alex?
Well, Michael, Alex Rodriguez DHing tonight. Expected to get 3 or 4 at-bats. He will play the field tomorrow for the Tampa Yankees in the Florida State League. Brian Cashman telling me about 5 innings at third base for Alex tomorrow. Cashman said on Sunday they will simulate some sort of a game for Alex. Cashman called Monday a travel day, and here is why. Alex Rodriguez expected to play in Scranton on Tuesday and Wednesday. Cashman emphasized that is weather permitting, and if all goes well, he would rejoin the Yankees Thursday at Target Field as they begin a 4-game set against the Twins.
All right, so we'll be looking for that, and finally, that one is driven to right field by Casey Kochman, but this one's in the ballpark as Andrew Jones will make the catch for the 2nd out. The whole city is talking about Mo. Either people believe that he's okay or people are fearful that this could be it. I'm sure you talked to Mo. What's his take?
I did. Here's what Mariano had to say today to me at his locker. Everyone's an analyst. He said everyone's going to find something, whether it's arm angle, whether it's wondering if he's healthy. Everyone will look for something now, and he said they'll find it because they'll want to find it. He said, I laugh at that. When we're all said and done, we will look at this as just another slump. I have one every year. Michael, Girardi, Cashman both agreeing with Mariano. They are not concerned. One other note on Mariano today. He told me he was particularly mad at himself last night because Corey Wade has done a very good job for the Yankees. He needed to pick up Wade last night, and he didn't. 2 of those runs that scored were charged to Wade. That really chapped Mariano, although today when I said if you turn the page, his response, I always turn the page.
Yeah, he's very, very good at that. He turns the page very, very well, and a good reliever has to do that. Russell Martin throws that one into foul territory, and that'll allow Sean Rodriguez to go to 2nd. Now he's heading to 3rd. Andrew Jones finally retrieves and throws the ball in. So that's going to be an E2 on Russell Martin. Kim, we thank you, and we'll talk to you on the postgame.
Thank you, Michael.
So Russell Martin trying to catch Sean Rodriguez sleeping, just airmailed the ball over Teixeira's head.
Yeah, not only that, but watch when Teixeira decides to chase the ball down. Tom Hallion, the first base umpire, is going to get in his way a little bit, and Teixeira's going to have to take the long route around. He has to go around Cape Horn to get to the ball. There's a throw by Teixeira. Has to take the long way around the umpire. And that's going to enable Rodriguez to go all the way to third base, as Andrew Jones is going to be the one who picks it up.
It's a big chance, Kenny. It's a big chance if you want to get to an umpire right to do.
Oh, you mean just knock him over?
A little forearm shiver.
Yeah, the thing about that, though, is Hallion's going to be behind the plate tomorrow.
That's right. It might cost you a couple of calls.
Shopik is first time up, hit that long home run.
Tell you what, during the talk with Kim, you know, some balls have been hit hard. Upton just missed one going to the wall. Ball's up in the zone. CC struggling a little bit with location. I just don't think he's comfortable throwing his changeup now, so he's come back to just slider fastball.
You know, get back to what Brian Cashman was saying about A.J. Burnett. I think A.J. and Brian's thinking anything positive we can throw out there, get this guy going in another direction. And the fact is, don't blame him for the money that was given to him. And I agree with him. I agree with him on that. Look out. I agree with him on that note. It's not about the money. It's about his performance.
Kelly Shopik throws the bat, and he strikes out, and that's going to do it here in the fourth as the Rays strand one. Derek Jeter and Evan Longoria are two of the 6 active position players to win the American League Rookie of the Year. Who are the other 4?
You know, I have difficulty with questions where it's not like a one-word answer.
Like yes or no?
We got to go four things back here.
You want to just remove yourself from this one?
No, I'm going to come up with one.
All right.
I know one.
Do you know one?
What is it, Kenny? Whisper. Get me in the game, would you?
Here's Granderson, struck out in the first inning.
1 out of 4, you only hit 250. That's not good.
It's not going to do much for you, is it?
Price has allowed 4 home runs to left-handed batters this year. Granderson has 2 of them. But he struck him out the first time.
Now, speaking of home runs to left-handed batters, CC coming into this game had given up only 2 home runs to lefty batters. And in the third inning, he gave up 2 in 1 inning to lefty batters, Kochman and Damon.
And the last time in Tampa Bay, Granderson hit a 2-run homer in the first inning off Price, and that was the only 2 runs he gave up. Later in the game, Granderson got one in the back, but it wasn't on purpose. Price came off the mound to apologize to him.
You see that last pitch up and in, but I mean, Price has thrown that breaking ball away, so it kind of sets up to jam it. And you saw kind of Granderson kind of wincing at that ball. You get jammed even on a foul ball, right on the handle, kind of wrings your hands a little bit.
Even in August, it does.
Yeah, it's worse in April.
Oh my goodness. April, you feel it for a week.
There's a strike, the count full.
I see Price has done a really good job with Granderson tonight by mixing up speeds. You know, even with a breaking ball, and he's really locating his fastball in on him. Right there, that hurts.
And Johnson makes the play and gets Granderson for the first out. 3-0 Tampa Bay. And there's a shot of the Mohegan Sun Sports Bar situated in center field. The Mohegan Sun Sports Bar is a great place to gather and enjoy the game. Having a good time.
Why not?
Food, air conditioning, baseball.
Some of the necessities of your life, right?
Absolutely. Here's Mark Teixeira. 1-0. Fouled away.
It was Price's changeup, and you don't see very many from him. Kind of a breaking ball, power fastball, but he threw a changeup there to Teixeira. Backed it up to another one.
It's a good looking moon. A jailed moon.
Wants to get in Yankee Stadium and he can't even sneak in, huh?
Moon behind bars.
No seats in the stadium.
Count 2-2. You know, the old thought is that full moon used to make people go crazy. And that's where you get the term lunatic. There's a ground ball to short. Johnson across the diamond gets Teixeira.
So what did everybody do?
Well, people would go like a little batty when there was a full moon.
It only happens once a month. It happens every night up here, Michael. Huh?
In this booth, yeah. Now we have an update on A-Rod's rehab start. 2 for 3 thus far. But we have a clarification. The initial report was wrong. He hit a home run on his first swing, not the first pitch.
Ryan, was that your information down there? You had nothing to do with it, right? Michael just threw it out there and expected you to agree?
Still, first swing is pretty good.
Yeah. First opportunity, right?
That's right. Should bring him up tomorrow.
That one is lined into left field, a base hit. Kenny, I think Paul really likes to watch Cano hit.
Can we just get a replay just to see how good a hitter Robbie Cano is? I mean, David Price is absolutely just wearing out lefties, and you see this 94 miles an hour. Don't try to pull it, just slap it the other way. Absolutely perfect.
On the other end of this replay, watch how quickly Jennings gets over and cuts this off. I thought the ball was headed for the wall, and he got over there and cut it off.
He almost overran it. He had to reach back for it.
There's Nick Swisher. He struck out in the second inning. There's a strike.
Had some fire on it.
You know, that's the thing. Any breaking ball, you know, he can throw for a strike is set up because he can throw both to righties and lefties. He's really, has command over that fastball on the inside corner. And as a hitter, it just locks you up.
This is his 4th start against the Yankees this year. He's 1-1 with he's had 2 no decisions and a loss. One of the no decisions the Rays won, and the other one the Yankees won. The July 9th game, he had a no decision here at the stadium. Of course, the famous July 9th game. And the Yankees won that game 5-4 on a base hit by Derek Jeter.
Count 2-2.
You know, David Price came out as a #1 pick, as I said earlier in the game, but you always knew he was going to be a #1 starter. But I mean, when he came up, a big part of that Rays' drive into the World Series, was it the closer?
He was a closer.
Yeah, using him late in the game. Young kid, got the last out to put him in the World Series. So he hit the ground running as soon as he got called up to the major leagues.
Not many teams that would trust a young pitcher as you're trying to make the postseason.
And at that time, they had Troy Percival, who was kind of down, wasn't throwing as hard as he was, and Madden, went with David Price, and he did the job.
There's the 3-2. Paul, there are people screaming for you. Can you please just acknowledge them? So
you got better ears than I got.
Right there.
Oh, there they are. Hey, folks.
There's the group that loves Paul.
Look at that. Another giveaway. Now look what you did.
I didn't do it.
You're up here leading them on.
Throw to first.
Saw Nick Swisher kind of leave the zone last time, but when you're expecting a fastball, and Price in fastball counts, Kenny, usually you're going to get the fastball. You have a tendency to swing at it. Nick Swisher has such a great eye, but when you know a fastball's coming, except for in this instance, you're going to swing it. It's like a changeup.
And Swisher takes it.
He's in the top 10 in the league in drawing base on balls.
Follow the New York Yankees with the MLB.com at Bat 11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at BAT to 31826 or visit Yankees.com for details. Sabathia hoping for some runs after giving up 3 in the third. 3 solo home runs. Here's Andrew Jones. He has the power to tie it. There's a strike.
David Price really went through the lineup first time around. A lot of fastballs mixed in a few curveballs, but all of a sudden this second time around, throwing a lot of changeups.
Kenny, if you're a pitcher and you know that Andrew Jones is always sitting dead red, why would you ever throw him anything but breaking balls?
Because sometimes you fall behind on counts and your best pitch is your fastball. If you're David Price, you've got one of the better fastballs in the league. It's a matter of his throwing it to a good location. If he doesn't, it's going to get hit like that.
Like that. Lined into right center field. It's a base hit, and it goes all the way to the wall. Cano scores. Here comes Swisher. Here's the throw. He's out. Great relay by the Rays to nail Swisher at home plate. And the home plate umpire, Phil Cussy, calls him out. So they tried to score 2. Instead, they get 1 on the Andrew Jones double. Good relay. Zobrist fires it in. Rodriguez to Shopik, and they get Swisher. It's 3-1. Rays lead. to nab Nick Swisher at home plate. We'll take a look at it, but it scored a double for Andrew Jones, an RBI, and Nick is out at home 9-4-2. So the Yankees get 1 run, and the first pitch to Johnson is outside.
A lot of times you blame the third base coach. I mean, you have to send Nick Swisher here. You got a perfect relay. Zobrist to Rodriguez. Shopik does a great job of sliding the leg over, catching his arm before he gets his plate. And as a third base coach, you know that your only job as a right fielder is to hit the cutoff man. You see a short hop right there and an absolute bullet right there. Shopik does a great job.
That one is driven to left field and deep. Gardner back. He's on the track. He's at the wall. See ya. A home run for Elliott Johnson. The 4th home run served up by Sabathia. And the Yankees trail 4-1.
Tell you what, you see Tampa there, they came out just swinging it. And if you look at most of these pitches, obviously CC Sabathia, power pitcher, still has to make pitches location wise. All supposed to be down and away, ends up kind of up middle. Those are, that as good as CC Sabathia's stuff is, and we go with it, you have to still hit your spots.
First time in his career that he's allowed 4 home runs in a game. Here's the 4th one, the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast.
You saw Russell Martin moving his glove back to where the ball was going to come to, not where they wanted it.
Pitch inside to Desmond Jennings, count 1-1.
Elliott Johnson's 4th home run of the year, the 4th given up by CC in the game.
Came close to giving up 5 as B.J. Upton took Gardner to the wall in the 4th inning. 11 runs allowed in his last 10 innings, 7 runs allowed in his previous 62. Now you would think giving up 4 home runs, the Yankees would be out of the game. Not even close. Each home run obviously is a solo shot, and 4-1 certainly is a doable score. Popped up. Cano goes a long way and can't make the catch. That's a play he eats up usually, and he just could not make the catch, and Jennings is on second.
Right, Michael, he got there. Nothing Andrew Jones can do. Play Robbie 9 out of 10 times. It just didn't hit the pocket of the glove. When you go back to these infielders, why you always try to call them off as an outfielder if you can get there, how small the glove is.
Ooh. In and out, heartbreak.
And that has scored a double.
It is?
That's a double.
Really?
That's surprising.
Jennings with great speed leads off second. The 0-1 to Damon. Breaking ball strike.
Be interesting to see how CC works these left-handed hitters. If both Damon and Kochman hit pitches that were in. And see if he starts going with the breaking ball away. Try and counteract that.
There's a hitter, I've said it many times, Kenny, if I hit a home run from a pitcher, I didn't look for the same pitch. They never like to come back.
Gardner with a nice catch, fires to second, and Jennings back. Let's take a look now at the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz answer. Jeter and Longoria, 2 of the 6 active position players to win the AL Rookie of the Year. Who are the other 4, Paul and Kenny?
Longoria's one.
That's mine. That's the one I had, Kenny.
A-Rod's another. And keep going.
Detroit.
You were wrong on
Wait a minute.
Thanks, Kenny.
Well, wait a minute.
Longoria was part of the question.
Okay.
See why you don't cheat on tests, Michael? Sometimes you get the wrong answer. Ichiro, he's a hard one because you just don't think of him as a rookie because he comes over.
I think he won the MVP that year too.
Yeah. Well, I was right. Longoria was one.
But it's hard to get credit for the answer that's in the question.
Yeah.
Longoria pops it up. Randerson is there, and that will do it for the second out. Hey, follow the conversation all game long on Twitter by using the hashtag #yes.
What's that mean?
You're not a Twitter guy?
What's the hashtag mean?
There's the hashtag. The thing that is like the tic-tac-toe.
Just wanted to know if I wanted to get involved.
Here's Ben Zobrist, 0 for 2. Struck out and grounded to first. Desmond Jennings leads off second. And the pitch is outside 1-0. Driven to right field. Toward the line moves Andrew Jones, and he'll put it away for the final out. So 3 fly balls to each outfielder. Gets CC out of the inning. But a home run by Elliott Johnson. 4 home runs against Sabathia. The first time he's ever done that in his career. You know what? It must be a full moon. Time for another look at tonight's Toyota text poll. Once again, the question, what has been the biggest surprise for the Rays this season? You've been texting us at 58772, and here's how you voted. 29% say the Manny suspension, and then Longoria hitting .230 is next. Russell Martin takes a strike to lead off the bottom of the 5th. Martin grounded to short in the 2nd. 4-1 Tampa Bay leads. Paul, you had an emotional meeting on the field before the game.
It was really cool. Jack Curry was down on the field, just doing his work, and he met some girls and asked me a question. He said, do you remember the 2 girls? Joe Torre had them on the field after 9/11. They were the daughters of one of the pilots. And you know what? All of a sudden, I'm like, wow, I do remember. He said, will you come over here? And I walked over, and here are these 2 girls. 10 years later, Brielle and Kirsten Saraceni, and they wanted to take pictures because they were going to add it to the picture they took that night I looked a lot better, I'm sure, 10 years ago. But I mean, here's one of them's in Boston College, and one of them has graduated from Columbia University. So it's a really, really neat story.
Now, just to build on that story, the reason Jack introduced you to those two girls, they also met Jeter that day, and this was his 10th-year anniversary. And on September 11th, Yes is going to have a special about the September 11th attacks and, you know, the 10-year anniversary of those attacks. So that's going to be September 11th. That's going to be part of the story. But it's great to see that these girls are doing so well.
Gone on and really made something with their life. Still had their Yankees on and still had their smiles, you know, like it was their first Yankee game. So it was really neat to see.
Time marches on, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I was in a suit and tie instead of the pinstripes, you know.
I still recognize you, though.
Yeah. Maybe because Jack brought me over, you know. They trusted him.
The 1-0, 2-0 to Nunez. You know, this is the 5th time that CC Sabathia and David Price have hooked up in a pitcher's duel. And you look at the numbers, it's surprising. The Yankees in those 4 games are 0-4. Price is 2-0 with a 1.69, and CC is 0-2 with a 6.00 ERA. So this is game number 5 in that series. There's a strike. Price deals. Now it's 3-2. Grounded to short. Johnson gets the hustling Nunez for the second out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees.
Well, you can see right away why David Price was the #1 pick overall. I mean, he's got great stuff and hard-throwing left-hander. But the Rays overall in general throughout their organization and what they've developed some very good young pitchers. They set a record earlier this year. 705 consecutive starts by pitchers under the age of 30 years old. And that goes back, that record was originally set, I believe it was 1913, 1914 Washington Senators when they had Walter Johnson pitching for them. So that's been a long time ago. So they've had some very good young pitchers over there. When you look at their staff right now, they got James Shields, you got Jeff Neiman, Jeremy Hellickson, all of course under 30 years old, and Price and Wade Davis. They've got some good
Shields
young pitchers.
and Price arguably, you know, best 1-2 punch in the American League, and that includes the Yankees and the Red Sox. I mean, you know, you got Beckett and Lester, you've got CC Sabathia and whoever wants to, you know, jump in as a #2 here, but you stick in a short series against Price and Shields, it's tough.
Ground ball to second. Sean Rodriguez gets Brett Gardner, and a 1-2-3 inning for David Price against the Yankees. We've played 5 at the stadium. Tampa Bay 4, New York 1.
Right here to pitch to Kochman. You saw where they wanted it. This was up and in. Here's Shopping. Wanted it down and away. This pitch is towards the middle of the plate, about belt high.
B.J. Upton fouls it back.
Well, let's go back. We're going to see the third of the 4 home runs. This is Johnny Damon. The target is low and away at the knees. That's not nearly where the pitch is. It's kind of belt high in the inner third of the plate. And finally, a home run by Johnson. That is right down the middle. And all big league hitters can hit that.
The 0-1 to Upton. Moves him off the plate. 1-1.
That replay was like going from like 1960 to update right in the same picture.
Yeah. We started at my house. We had a black and white TV.
Gone from rabbit ears to cable. The 1-1. Fouled away. It really does, Kenny, seem like a lifetime ago where, I mean, you'd send the youngest kid in the family to hold the rabbit ears or put like Reynolds wrap on it or something like that.
I was the youngest one. I was always on the aluminum foil. This is great, guys. How's the game?
You know what? It wasn't only that. You had double duty. You had to get up and change the channel, too.
That's right. There was no clicker. Way high.
We only had 3 channels, though. You had 3 channels, and it's not like you had a big choice of what you're going to watch.
There's CC's record against the Rays and the Red Sox. 6-10, 3.99 career with the Yankees. 50-11 with everybody else. With a full run ERA lower. 2-2. Fouled away.
You know, you can nitpick about CC Sabathia with some numbers and a couple outings that, just don't live up to his standards. Kind of what you're doing with Mariano. But if you dig deep enough into the numbers, I mean, he's been an unbelievable horse since he's been here for New York.
Yeah, well, you got both of them kind of with a little blip on the radar lately here.
Swing and a miss.
Wow. That might have been his best breaking ball of the night right there.
Once in a while you see a major leaguer take a swing that just does not belong in a major league ballpark, but you see that curveball. Jay Upton just completely full.
Sean Rodriguez 1 for 2.
Now, no matter what Rodriguez does with the bat tonight, he's already made a big-time contribution in his game with the relay throw to the plate. Remember, he's playing second base tonight, but mostly he's been playing shortstop, and he's got a shortstop arm out there. And when Robbie Thompson saw that Swisher had been thrown out at the plate, he looked back at the field, and he was looking at Sean Rodriguez because he made a great throw from short right field to home plate to pick off Swisher at the plate.
I mean, from where he was, that's very easy to short hop the catcher or throw off target. That was an absolute bullet right to the plate.
Well executed by the Rays on defense. They have a very good defensive team. Their pitching and defense goes a long way to whatever games they win, but their offense has let them down more often than not this year, and that's why they're in third place.
Two 2-1. Line drive, right center. It's a base hit. Granderson cuts it off, but Rodriguez going for 2, and he'll make it. He was running hard out of the box, and because Granderson circled the ball, he was able to get the second. You mentioned that relay, and that is our GE Capital partner play. Great partnerships are built on trust. At GE Capital, we prove that every day.
Well, here's Zobrist's throw, and this isn't the best, but it comes up on a nice hop to Rodriguez, and here's his throw, which is a bullet. They're shopping for the tag. And look at Robbie Thompson, the third base coach of the Yankees. He sees the out, and then watch him take a glance. Yeah, he's looking at Sean Rodriguez. Wow.
And that's a chance as a third base coach you'll take every time. That's a bang bang play, and they did everything perfect. And how often is it done perfect on relays?
Kochman grounds out to Teixeira as Rodriguez moves to third, 2 away.
The Rays have made the second fewest errors in the league. Only the White Sox have made fewer. But Errors don't tell the whole story. It's the amount of ground you cover as a team, the tough plays that you're capable of making. You just saw a tough play that they made.
You're talking about a team that also plays 81 games a year on AstroTurf indoors. So, you know, you
got to have quickness.
You got to have speed to cut off balls in the gap. AstroTurf a little quicker than in grass, especially, you know, when you're playing on a wet grass or something like that. Same as the infield. Always as a hitter, I felt like you had an advantage of getting the ball through the infield. AstroTurf plays a little bit quicker.
There's Kelly Shopping, 1 for 2, the one a home run. And a strike.
Talked about it, Kenny, that, you know, you wonder if they'll pitch him the same way. Well, Shopping hit a changeup away out of the ballpark, and you see the first pitch was 96 on the inner half of the plate. So definitely changing things up.
Count 1-1. CC's allowed 6 extra base hits tonight, 4 home runs, a couple of doubles, and that's a season high for him. Pitch outside. .28 pitches in that third inning when he gave up the 3 home runs. He's got 90 overall. Looked very sharp in his first 2 innings, 22 pitches, 6 up, 6 down. But then back-to-back home runs to start off the third. Kochman and Shopping. Then a couple of outs later, 2 strikeouts actually. Johnny Damon hits a home run. And then Elliott Johnson with a leadoff home run in the 5th. 2-2. Joe Madden took his vitamins today, I'm sure.
Well, he's seen his team. His team must be taking their vitamins because they've won 10 of their last 14.
And as well as New York and Boston have played, they really haven't picked up any ground. It's got to be frustrating to be a pretty good team.
The Yankees have won 10 of 13.
Just been caught in a division where, you know, you're playing against 2 of the better teams in baseball.
97-mile-an-hour fastball blown right by Shopping. No runs, a hit, and 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 4-1 Tampa Bay. Bay. 1-3-1 for the Yankees. Kochman, Shopping, Damon, and Johnson each have homered, all solos. Andrew Jones has accounted for the only Yankee run, an RBI double. Could have been 2 RBIs, but a great relay by Sean Rodriguez to nail Nick Swisher trying to score. And then Sabathia, the 4 home runs allowed, his career high. Bottom of the 6th, top of the Yankee order. Derek Jeter will lead off. Derek 1 for 2. He singled in the first to right field and then wrapped into a 6-4-3 double play. Couple of birthdays today. Our truck AD Jackie Toohey and our high third cameraman Win Bernfeld. Happy birthday to those workers here at Yes. There's Win.
And Win, all right. Happy birthday.
That's not Jackie. Jackie's in the truck. Pitch inside.
It's Jackie's birthday today?
Yeah.
Wow.
Kenny, I don't know if you noticed on that last strikeout, CC had a little anger in that pitch.
Yeah, that was
Kelly Shopping was ex-teammates we talked about, but I think CC said, hey, you know, you're a fastball hitter, but a little anger in this pitch.
Is this what you're talking about?
It's after the strikeout. You see Shopping, I mean, it's fun and games when you've already hit a home run off the guy, right?
Like we're even, right? Now, if you hit a home run,
yeah.
I'll take a strikeout for a home.
1 for 2 with a homer. I'll take my chances. Yeah. That was a long one too.
You know, whenever you hear the phrase "he's a good fastball hitter," reminds me of a story that John Sterling always used to tell. He was the broadcaster for the Braves before coming here, and Steve Bedrosian was there. And the pitching coach came out and told Bedrosian, this guy's a good fastball hitter. And Bedrosian looked him right in the eye and goes, yeah, but is he a great fastball hitter?
I faced Bedrock a few times. I had a pinch hit off him once. I swung 3 times and just walked straight to the dot. He had a good fastball.
There's Johnny and Susan.
Overpowering fastball.
By the way, it's the first ever home run Shopping's hit against CC.
Oh, was that right?
Yeah. Fouled away. Red Sox play Seattle tonight, so that game, obviously on the West Coast, will start in about an hour and 15 minutes. Big game in the Central. Twins and the Indians tied at 1. Bottom of the 7th. And Philadelphia, check that, Detroit 4 and Baltimore 2, top of the 5th. Boy, Baltimore's really struggling. At the end of the month, the Yankees have a 5-game set against the Orioles at Camden Yards. 5 games in 4 days. Jeter battling David Price. Soft ground ball up the middle. Rodriguez gets Jeter. Jeter and Price are forever going to be thought of together because of that 3,000th hit, almost like Al Downing and Hank Aaron and Tracy Stallard and Roger Maris. And these two linked forever in history. There's hit number 3,000. July 9th, pretty special day. And you found out something a couple weeks ago. It's kind of surprising, I guess, to some. I know it surprised me. But David Price agreed to sign memorabilia with Derek Jeter of a picture of the 3,000th hit. Some might say, why would he do that? That can't be a great moment for him. But he's making some money off that bad day. Hot shot to first. Kochman stays with the bad hop and flips it to Price for the second out.
Well, he's part of history. And Price is going to be a part of this play too. Kochman knocks it down. I think Kochman could have beaten Granderson to the bag, but he didn't take any chances. Price is there in plenty of time. Watch him bounce off the mound. He's got wide receiver speed.
I'll tell you one thing, he's got some speed on the inner half of the plate. He's tied up Curtis Granderson all night from fastballs inside by showing him breaking balls his first time up. He's been on the handle of that bat ever since. A lot of breaking through, a couple changeups and a couple sliders to Teixeira last at bat. If he continues with that, starts him off with a changeup this time.
Rays 4, Yankees 1, bottom of the 6th, 2 outs, nobody on.
The Yankees came into this game tonight. They've played the Rays 9 times, and the Yankees have won 5 of them. But 6 of the 9 games have been decided by 1 run. That's how close this season series has been to this point. So the managerial wheels have been spinning throughout these first 9 games.
The 0-2. 1-2.
Price is just, this is the way I'm going to go about it. All breaking stuff. He threw that, the 2-seamer out of the zone intentionally, but everything else has been slider, changeup, inside target. Go hard here. 96. Yep. See, there's pictures of 2 managers. I went in Joe Girardi's office today. He got tightened up at the barber today. You see Madden on the other side sporting the long do. We got some fancy shoes here too.
Ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. Price tried to kick save, but couldn't slow it down, so Teixeira with a 2-out single.
They overshifted. That was the second baseman Rodriguez going to his right. There's where you get that foot out of the way. That size 12. He's 6'6". I'll go with 14. Here's the shot. Back through the middle. Second base umpire Bill Miller had the best chance at it.
You know what? You see him yelling there, and he made his pitch where he went. I think he's upset that he went to another fastball. He has thrown Teixeira all breaking balls and all stuff. Well, he finally threw a fastball for a strike. Probably talking to himself, why? Why did I go away from the way I wanted to get him out? I mean, this isn't a bad pitch, but it's a fastball, and that's what Mark Teixeira can handle. Piece of hit.
Here's Cano, who has 7 hits in his last 10 at bats. There's a strike, 2 home runs, a double, a triple, 6 runs batted in.
See Robbie Cano inching up over 300.
He's actually hitting better against left-handers. 321 against lefties.
And a good piece of hit last time up, but this is such a tough matchup. You see that last pitch cut, that it was at 95.
Yeah, his ability to hit the ball hard to the opposite field helps him out against lefties, because he can stay on the ball and drive that breaking ball that isn't quite the best to left center.
Yeah, I don't think as a left-handed hitter, I mean, you can hit some bad breaking balls and some mediocre fastballs, but to be an everyday player and hit left-handers, I think you have to have the ability to hit the ball to left center field.
Ground ball, Elliott Johnson. They'll go the short way. They get the force, and that will do it. No runs a hit, no errors in. 1 man left on base. We played 6. Rays 4. Yankees 1 on yes. Home run by Damon, Kochman, Shopik, and Elliott Johnson. Double by Jennings and Rodriguez, and Evan Longoria with a single. 8 hits for the Rays. And Elliott Johnson will lead off on the Cadillac scoreboard. Tampa Bay leads 4-1. It's a push punt, and it's foul. Now, these two teams, there's no love lost. And you could almost trace this back to this day in spring training. 4 years ago, Elliott Johnson slams into Francisco Cervelli, and this was March of 08. And it broke Cervelli's right wrist. And the Yankees were angry that he would go in that hard in a spring training game. And Joe Madden was trying to tell everybody, I want my team to play hard. That one's knocked down by Nunez, and he loses the play. That'll be an E5. And you know what? It turned out to be the right move, at least for the Rays. They went to the World Series that year. But I don't think that harbored any good feelings between these two teams. A spring training game where he's trying to make his team think they could play with anybody. And the Yankees are saying, this is a spring training game. Why are you going crashing into a catcher?
Right, and you have to see it from Madden's point of view. I mean, you're the Rays. You're trying to tell your guys you could compete with the Yankees. Even in spring training, you go about it. You get used to playing hard against teams. Very unfortunate when you see guys get hurt in spring training.
That's very true. But I think from his standpoint, up to that point, they'd been kind of like doormats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that he was trying to convince them we can play with these guys. And, you know, maybe that speech should have come a couple of days before the season started, you know, instead of, you know, in spring training. Well, it depends. You know, you get to spring training, we're going to have a good year, guys. We have to play hard. We can compete with the Yankees, the Red Sox, whomever's out there.
Bunted up in the air. Russell Martin makes the play. What a play by Martin for the first out.
Tell you what, talk about athletic. You don't understand how hard it is to get out of the crouch of a catcher. Full run over there. Nice play.
And to find the ball when it's popped up and have an idea where it's going. It's the IOTV HD super shot right here. And it comes into the heel of the glove. Watch him cover with the bare hand. The hold on. That looked like a reception in the corner of the end zone, didn't it? And right into your living room. Tad Davis was almost taken out. You just saved the camera, Tad.
Here's Johnny Damon. What you don't realize, Kenny, is that I have offered Russell Martin a free dinner on the road if he ever plowed into Tad. That was his opportunity. And still he had a chance. He didn't do it.
What do take out cameramen for? What's
no,
up with that?
not cameramen, just Tad.
Just Tad?
Yeah, there he is.
Don't worry, Tad. If you get hurt, I'm smoking Michael up here. Don't worry about it.
Swing and a miss. Runner goes. Throw to second. Oh, Russell Martin showing off. He guns down Elliott Johnson.
Like a hit and run. Johnny Damon swings through a slider. You see Johnny Damon. No, he didn't make contact. Knows what's going to happen.
The happiest man on the field is Eduardo Nunez. That was his base runner.
I tell you what, as a hitter, you know when you get the hit and run, your one job is to put the ball in play.
Like that. Ground ball up the middle. Jeter's there. Gets Damon, and that'll do it here in the 7th. No runs, no hits, 1 error. Eduardo Nunez is 15th of the year, and nobody left on base at the end of 6.5. Time for the 7th inning stretch. Rays lead the Yankees 4-1, but we're going to stay right here at Honor America in the Bronx.
Please rise and offer a moment of silent prayer as we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now, join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
inept here at the stadium, but he hits a home run in Toronto. Let's take a look at the Yankees in-game box score, brought to you by McDonald's. Not too many hits in there. Derek Jeter has a single. Mark Teixeira with a single. Robinson Cano also picked up a single. He scored a run. Andrew Jones picked up that run with a double. A couple of walks in there as well. Yankees have not been able to generate much offense against David Price. So Price will face Swisher, Jones, and Martin here in the bottom of the 7th. Cadillac scoreboard 4-8-0 leads 1-4-2. Fouled off in front of the plate. Fast-moving ball game here as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, just under 2 hours. And some games have pace and some games don't. This one obviously does. And a lot of people in baseball talking about the game on Sunday between the Yankees and the Red Sox, where they went the first 9 innings in about 4 hours of a 2-1 game. Ended up being 2-2 at the end of 9. You got Josh Beckett taking forever between pitches, both sides stepping out. I was talking to Bobby Valentine today, who did the game for ESPN, and we both have the same idea. I wanted to bang it off you guys. The rule is 12 seconds between pitches if there's no one on base. How cool would it be? Hot shot up the middle and a base hit to put a 12-second clock on the scoreboard. And the crowd would be into it, and all of a sudden the pitcher would be not ready to throw, and the crowd's counting down 5, 4. Would add a level of excitement, and you'd speed the game up.
I'm trying to figure out when, and now we can't tell because we have a runner on base, but when does the 12 seconds count?
When he gets the ball.
When he gets the ball. So
Yeah.
a lot of times you'll see the pitcher kind of waiting to see if the hitter's ready.
Right.
So, you'd have to really pinpoint when that 12 seconds starts.
How about you, Kenny?
What happens on the rainy days when the mound is muddy and you have to get because it can get dangerous out
You
there.
can call timeout on your 12 seconds.
Can you
I don't know.
You have to put a clock on the screen behind home plate so
Yes,
the
you
pitcher
would.
could see it.
The screen and on the big score bat.
Yeah, so
Like a 24-second clock.
exactly.
The beauty of you've always bragged about there's no time clock in baseball.
Right.
You're trying to just change everything.
No, because some games should be quicker than others.
You know what? It probably wouldn't happen at big league level. You'd have to start it at the minor league level,
Right.
Like they've done with other things.
But since the rule is already in place and is never enforced, a clock would make it be enforced.
Yeah. And I tell you what, if pitchers, and this is my opinion, if pitchers got in a rhythm of doing that, they would get used to it, and you'd have guys that would hate it, and you'd have guys that probably think, this has really helped me out. Just takes a lot of the thinking away. You'd have to really get along with your catcher a lot better too. There wouldn't be much shaking off.
I think you would also have to ask TV networks if they'd be willing to shorten the breaks in between innings, because that lengthens games.
Well, that's true, but I mean, that's going to pay the freight. There's ways to speed up the game.
Do you understand what I mean?
But they're not going to do that.
No,
we know they're not going to do that. But I guess it just came to the forefront because Beckett was so painfully slow.
He was.
And look now, Andrew just stepped out of the box. I mean, you're really not supposed to step out of the box either. There's a strike, and Jones down looking.
This is going to be the 4th strikeout for David Price, and he might have got a bit of a borderline. It was borderline, to say the least. Now, Andrew Jones didn't think it was a strike; he thought it was high.
Here's Russell Martin. Fouled away.
You see, everybody compares these games nowadays, the television games, to games years ago. First of all, when you look at the clock on years ago, there was no TV. The games are, quick, really quick. And then, TV gets into it, and you have to pay the freight, as Michael said. You have to have your commercial. Even then, the games are still played a lot more quickly than they are now.
That one is chopped toward third. Longoria will take the out at first. Nice stretch there by Kochman. Moving to second is Swisher.
You know, it's funny, you look back at even in the minor leagues, I know from high school, the Pony League to the minor leagues, but if you were leading off an inning and you were an outfielder, you had to like hustle in and get ready to hit because, you know, the pitcher would be ready. And, you know, at the major league level, you never, I mean, you can strut in, get your gloves, get your helmet. You have plenty of time to get up there and get ready for an at bat.
Here's Eduardo Nunez. He is 0 for 2. Fly ball to center and a ground ball to short.
You know, even in this day and age, you get a game that's really quick. Did James Shields pitch the game last week? Was it an hour 53?
Yeah. I think it was 2 days ago against Kansas City.
Yeah. Which means he was mowing them down, number one.
You see David Price, I mean, he's like on automatic pilot. He's throwing strikes, he's switching stuff, he's aggressive. I mean, and then you look at his stat, I'm just looking at his stat, he's 9-3 when the Rays score at least 3 runs. So this is the type of pitcher he can be if he has a team that scores runs for him. I mean,
same thing with Shields. I mean, Shields' record is, he's 11-9. If these two pitchers, Shields and Price, got the run support from the Yankees or the Red Sox.
Oh, my. Yep.
64 strikes out of 100 pitches, so a good ratio for Price, the 0-2. Lined into left field, Desmond Jennings coming on, and he slides and makes the play.
That's that dead zone. You see that you lose that ball in the lights. Good play.
He makes the play to end the inning and strands Nick Swisher at second base. Protected himself, and Price leaned it into the glove. We go to the 8th. Hybrid of the New York Yankees. Speaking of the Yankees, they're running out of time. We go to the 8th inning. They're down 4-1. Longoria swings at the first pitch and skies it to deep right center. That ball has a chance, and that ball is gone. Another solo home run given up by CC Sabathia. He's now served up 5 homers in this game, and the Rays have 5 runs. They lead 5-1. That ball really jumped, Paul.
Oh, it's really amazing. I mean, Longoria, you know he has power, and he's, again, he was touted to be a superstar, and he's good. Play ball away, stays with it, doesn't try to pull it. It's kind of that jet stream zone out in Yankee Stadium these days, and right center field ball really carries.
12 runs batted in his last 9 games.
Beautiful bunt down the third baseline. And if it doesn't roll foul, which it won't, it's a base hit for Zobrist. So the cleanup hitter gets on with a bunt.
You don't see that very often, do
Hyundai scoreboard, it's 5-1, Tampa Bay over the Yankees. Hey, Kenny, have you noticed this week the ball is carrying like it did the first year when the stadium first opened?
Particularly in this direction, Michael. Right center. Been some home runs to left tonight.
Curtis Granderson put his head down, thought he missed one yesterday.
And it went in the seats.
Went in the seats.
Here's B.J. Upton, 0 for 3, and that one is chopped toward Jeter. It's going to be a double play. 6-6-3. Now, CC Sabathia had allowed 8 home runs through his first 25 starts. He's given up 5 tonight. How do you explain this? And he's throwing the ball hard, but I guess you did explain it when you showed it before, Kenny. It's just location.
Location, particularly the first 4, and that one was kind of right down the middle of Longoria, and he got good wood on it.
Here's Sean Rodriguez.
You talked about it, Kenny. These guys have been playing well, too. They've been winning. It's not like this is new to them coming in, and it might be new to hit 5 home runs, but to come in and play well and beat somebody, no, they've been playing well.
I think they realize this might be their last stand. I mean, they play here at Yankee Stadium. From here, they go to Fenway Park, take on the Red Sox.
How about this stat, Kenny? They have 45 games remaining. 19 of them are against the Red Sox and the Yankees.
There you go.
Damon's been in pennant races before, won a championship with the Red Sox and the Yankees. The 0-2, 1-2. Sabathia at 105 pitches.
There's James Shields.
A lot of trade rumors around him in Cincinnati, actually, and you just cannot believe that an organization would trade away a guy like that.
Rodriguez beaten to the bag by Teixeira. Another run for the Rays. Another home run by Longoria. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Yankees now by 4. Candidates. There's a number 1, David Price. Number 2, Johnny Damon. Number 3, Kelly Shoppick. Or number 4, Casey Kochman. Hey, vote now. Make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. Hyundai scoreboard 5-1, Tampa Bay over the Yanks. Just informed by the Yankees that they're going to do a pregame ceremony honoring Derek Jeter and his 3,000th hit tomorrow before the game, so fans are encouraged to get here a little earlier. The ceremony will be about 3:45. Great play by Rodriguez, but no play on Gardner, an infield single.
You know, Derek's walking to the plate, so he's not listening to me, so I can let you know something today. I saw what the players are going to give to him as a present. Really cool.
You better not say what it is.
No, I'm not going to say what it is.
Does he know?
Reason to watch?
He doesn't know, does he?
I don't think so. No. I said he's at the plate. You can't be listening to me now.
Yeah, but he can watch the tape later.
No, he doesn't do that. He's seen a lot of baseball games.
Alex Rodriguez watches the game twice after he plays it.
Is that right?
Yeah. He'll come up and tell me about calls I made.
Really?
Yes. He actually walked up to me one day and said, you know, that was a great C on that second home run.
That he hit?
Here's Derek Jeter. Well, Alex is one of those rare baseball players, all kidding aside, who's a huge baseball fan. He will sit there and watch every single game he can get on the baseball package. He just loves the game. He's a student of it, knows the history. But some guys don't. Derek says he doesn't watch the World Series when the Yankees are in it. So Gardner starts up the 8th inning by singling. In all likelihood, he's not going anywhere when they're down by 4. Joel Peralta is warming up. Pitch inside, 1-1.
All right, Michael, this is a strange series, you know, because I'm not working tomorrow.
Right.
So
because game's on Fox.
I need a favor.
Right.
Can you help me out?
Sure.
I need a ride.
Ride where?
To the airport. 4:30 this morning.
4:30 this morning?
Can you help me out or not?
All right, you come stay in the apartment in the city, and I'll drive you to the airport. You want me to go to Westchester and then drive you to the airport?
Well, I got to go get my bags. What am I going to just take your clothes home with me?
Wouldn't be bad.
Over well, right? So the answer is no, you're telling me.
I would do it. You get the bags tonight, come to the apartment, and Jody and I will take you to the airport. I guess you don't want to do that.
Well, by the time I go up there, get it, come back, it's probably already time to leave.
Yeah, you're right. The 2-1, 3-1. $107 pitches for Price. This is just the second time since June 28th that Price has completed 7 innings. But the Rays bullpen, not a disaster area at all. They built a nice bullpen, so he's not afraid to go there. Jim Hickey's done a very good job.
That's amazing. You talked about how Joe Girardi has done a great job in his bullpen. Hickey, I mean, as much as they lost in their bullpen, Soriano being one of them.
Oh, what a play by Rodriguez. There's one, and there's 2.
Wow, that play was even better by Rodriguez because he was moving to his right as the pitch was headed to home plate. And then all of a sudden he had to move back to his left quickly. There's this initial stop to Johnson. The Kochman just ahead of Jeter. Then turned to double play. So you can see him falling back the other way to recover. Well turned by the Rays. I told you they have a very good defense.
I'd like to see that play at first in Yesmo, because that was pretty close. Granderson shows bunt but takes low. All right. Wow, what a great call by Tom Hallion. He was out. He was out. Ball's on the glove. His foot is coming down. Good job.
Usually the base runner will tell you too if there's any down, and Derek didn't really say anything.
Count 2-0. If he gets this out, he completes 8 innings for the first time since June 22nd. Here's the Yesmo request being fulfilled. And they got him. Eyelash. 2-1.
See Curtis Granderson faking a bunt his first pitch. That just tells you, as good as he feels, That's how tough Price has been on him.
Yeah, here's a guy who's just coming off a series, hit 4 home runs.
Yeah, you're going to drag bunt. This guy has got good fastball in and a slider away. There it is, up and in again. Just cannot get to it. It's got life on it. Very hard as a left-handed hitter to pick up that ball inside.
Yeah, he's been dotting him up and in, as Paul said. Right in there, and then he's going down and away. That's tough for hitters to handle.
And if you connect those 2 dots, Kenny, that
That's
you just
a
put on
long way.
that's a lot of coverage for a hitter to try to cover.
It's like from here to Chicago. At least Cincinnati.
Since he made it to the broadcast.
Yeah. 5-1 Rays over the Yanks. Rounded to first. Kochman flips to Price, and that'll do it. So Price goes through 8th. No runs are hit. Nobody left. We go to the 9th. 5-1 Tampa Bay.
Bob Lorenz back in the studio for highlights and analysis from the game, including a look around the rest of baseball, plus Joe Girardi's press conference, and Kim Jones with the clubhouse reaction. It's all coming up later on the postgame only on Yes.
So CC's night is done. Luis Ayala comes in out of the bullpen. To me, Michael, CC was throwing the ball well. He was wild within the strike zone, and which means there's too many pitches in the middle of the plate. He had 7 strikeouts and no walks, which means the quality of his strikes, they were too good, and that's why they were getting hit out of the ballpark.
Yeah, I still, looking back, I don't think that he had that good changeup. I think that he lost confidence in it when Kelly Shopik hit it out over the State Farm sign. But you know what makes him his best is when he has a good changeup. He's got a great fastball. He's got a great breaking ball. But he becomes dominant when he can throw that changeup over for a strike, and I think he lost confidence in it early tonight.
Joe Girardi then makes the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T, and he will bring on Luis Ayala. And Ayala will face the bottom third of the order, starting with Casey Kochman. And Kochman started the home run madness, leading off the 3rd inning with one just inside the foul pole and right. For a team like the Rays, who are going to have a limited payroll, they've got to hit on gambles like Kochman. They've got to have those long shots come in that Kochman could have this sort of season, because he made up defensively for what Pena used to do. Now he doesn't have the same home run total, but Pena last year hit, I think, under 200. So Kochman certainly giving him a big batting average, and that's not a big drop-off for them.
Kochman actually started the year in the minor leagues. He was down at AAA as they were going with Brett Wallace, a youngster out of the Oakland organization who just didn't do it.
That's
so
right,
they called Kochman up, and he's done it.
It took him a while to get in get enough at bats to get in the league leaders. Now that what is he, second coming into the game?
Yeah, trailing only Adrian Gonzalez.
2-2. Just missed.
And as we mentioned, his last 13 games is 8 multi-hit games. He's only got 1 hit tonight, but it's a home run.
You can just tell every pitch he's into. I love to watch guys hit that. You know, it just looks like they're taking it serious. It means a lot to them.
There's a multi-hit.
Well, he lines a single to right field.
So that's 9 in his last 14 games. Been multi-hit games for Casey Kochman. And another thing about him, he's playing for his hometown. He's native of St. Petersburg, Florida. Graduated from Pinellas High School, so he is back home. Looks like he wants to stay for a while.
See that concentration, and then you see just that total release of just what a great feeling. Because as soon as you hit that ball off the bat, you know it's going in for a hit.
11th hit for the Rays. First against Ayala. Here's Shopping. Line past Nunez and into left field, a base hit. So Shopping with a multi-hit game, and the Rays have runners on first and second. Nobody out here in the 9th.
On paper, Michael, you look and you talked about Kochman and how they kind of struck gold by bringing him in and having an offensive year. But you know, Shopping's a better hitter. He comes into the game hitting 175. You've called up Desmond Jennings. I mean, he looks to the future like he could be an offensive player. Evan Longoria came in hitting 230. He's capable of doing a lot more. And you look at Upton. That's the real question mark. Is he ever going to become a player that they think he can become?
Elliott Johnson with the bunt, and Nunez did the same thing on the bunt that he did in Boston. There's nobody covering third if Nunez is going to charge that hard on the bunt. If you'll see, if he had stayed back, they had a chance at Kochman, who doesn't run that well.
There's the bunt, and immediately their third base is uncovered. As Michael says, you know, pitchers, Ayala's a good athlete too. Maybe not as good as Mariano, because Mariano definitely looked at third base in Boston. He had a chance to get the runner at third, but Nunez was standing right next to him.
Yeah, there's that point of no return that Nunez is getting to, and then he continues to go in. You have to hesitate and read where the pitcher is. You're still going to have time, and there's that one little line that he gets to that he gets too far, and then it's over. He can never get back.
Yankees have to bring the infield in for Desmond Jennings. Pitches inside.
One reason I think Jennings is being used in a leadoff role here, and we saw that when Carl Crawford first came to the major leagues. The Rays tried to use him as a leadoff hitter, but eventually he grew out of it. And I think the same thing might happen to Jennings. Jennings had 12 home runs at AAA.
That's not a bad thing when you grow out of the lead-up spot.
No.
Usually you're doing some good things offensively. Huh?
That means 3, 4, and 5 hitters are the ones who make the paydays.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you're stealing like 60, 70 bases as a leadoff hitter.
Hector Noesi up for the Yanks. The 2-0. Crowd of 47,894 here at the stadium, and that's the 12th sellout of the year. Pitch outside. Jennings at 275 at AAA. He had spent 30 days prior in the big leagues, and that was the September call-up of last year. He had 4 hits and 21 at-bats in 17 games. The 3-1, and they walk Desmond Jennings. And that's going to bring up Johnny Damon.
know, there's been so much made over Derek Jeter hitting 3,000 hits and stuff. And if you look, Johnny Damon has a good chance at 3,000 hits. He's 2,684. But I was also reading this. He's tied 65th all-time. 65th all-time baseball in hits. And he's tied for 47th all-time in doubles. You know he's tied with in doubles?
Who?
Babe Ruth.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Now, if he gets to 3,000, he's a Hall of Famer. I think he has to get to 3,000.
Yeah.
He's got the winning part on his resume, though.
Yeah.
The championships.
The Yankees dropped the infield back to double play depth at short and second. He's got to play 2 more years and stay healthy in those 2 years to get to 3,000. You figure he'll get to about 27-10 by the end of this year. Fouled away. Maybe more. Keeps in great shape and loves the fact that he's playing in Tampa Bay now, which is a short drive, not a short drive, but about an hour from his home in Orlando, hour and a half. So he can live at home full time.
If you think about his career, Kenny, I mean, he came up as, you know, he's touted with George Brett. You know, he was going to be the next phenom in Kansas City. But he, you know, he was a slasher and, you know, put the ball in play, had great speed. Most guys come in with some power and kind of go downhill. He actually has more power now in the last, you know, 3 or 4 years than he had when he broke into the big leagues.
Yeah, I think he's learned to set up pitchers. He knows what to look for. Went from Kansas City, got too expensive for Kansas City. They traded him to Oakland.
The 1-2 holds up. Now 2-2.
I saw today Don Zimmer. Zimmer's in town. Backed out on the field.
Zim, yeah.
Always brings back good memories and good stories when you see Zim out on the field.
Special advisor to the Tampa Bay Rays, the 2-2. Fouled away. He always used to tell you, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, when you get angry, that he had a concrete job for you that he could have gotten.
And the funny thing was, about 5 years, he'd tell me every year, you know, if you don't like this job, and he's joking, I got a guy in Cincinnati, block concrete guy, will give you a job. And I'm in Kroger's, which is a grocery store, years ago. A guy comes up to me, introduces himself to me, and says, I'm the guy that Don Zimmer wants to introduce in case you want to work on concrete. So I actually he wasn't a fictitious character. It was a real guy.
2-2.
That's the guy you would have worked for.
Yeah.
Did he seem like a nice guy to work for?
Yeah, but I looked at the word. It didn't sound like much fun. When Zim told me it didn't sound like much fun, and when he offered it to me, it didn't sound like much fun. You know, Zim, he was from Ohio. He was from Cincinnati, so it still has friends.
Did that calm you down when he would offer you the concrete job?
You know what it really did? It would no matter how bad things got out on the baseball field, I think it made you feel how lucky you were to be able to go out there the next day and try to do it again. Just a little reminder, I think.
You're right, though, Paul. Zim has great stories. I mean, how many years in baseball now? 60 plus or something like that? Or close to it?
Yeah, they ran out of numbers. Yeah. Wearing his number. I remember in Detroit one day sitting out there and just about 10 feet away, he and Ernie Harwell talking. And you talk about baseball stories. All inside, didn't quite get back to the inside corner. You hold your breath as a hitter and hope that the umpire sees it that way.
All right, so we got the bases loaded here with 1 out, a 3-2 count on Damon. Ayala deals another foul ball. This is what Damon does. You know, Paul mentioned how Damon has become a better power hitter. In his first 3 years in Kansas City, in order, he had 3 home runs, 6 home runs, and 8 home runs.
Well, he was improving.
He's got 10 right now. Swing and a miss. So Ayala wins the battle with the changeup.
Changeup, 3-2. Tough pitch. That changeup has the same movement as a sinking fastball. So as a hitter, you pick up the same spin, but there's just a little bit taken off. Great pitch, 3-2. You got to have a lot of confidence in that. Throw a 3-2, okay?
Well, that's why it made Damon look silly, because he was looking heater. It looked like it. Yeah, that'll have you muttering under your breath.
Here's Longoria. There's a strike.
Change it.
Just missed inside with the fastball.
By the way, that home run Longoria hit last time up, that was the 100th of his career. Number 100. He's in triple digits.
Oh, what a play by Teixeira. He probably saved 2 runs, maybe 3. Outstanding play, and keep the Yankees within striking distance as we head to the bottom of the ninth. The Gold Glove winning first baseman just pulled in a gem. Learn more, visit Kia.com. By Advanced Urology Centers of New York, the best care in the world right in your backyard. And by HP Touchpad, everybody on. Last chance saloon for the Yankees. They try to come back from a 5-1 deficit. And they'll have to do it against Joel Peralta. He has 1 save. This is not a save situation as the Rays are up by 4. You see his numbers, 3.57. He's going to face the heart of the order for the Yankees. Teixeira, Cano, and Swisher, 3, 4, and 5.
Peralta's 57th appearance of the year. That's number 1 in the American League. Been in more games than any other pitcher.
Tampa Bay over the Yankees. You know, we talked about the Rays bullpen. They lost practically everyone in the bullpen from last year to free agency, the team that won the American League East. And they cut and pasted. You know what? The bullpen's effective, and their closer, Kyle Farnsworth, has had a really fine year. Many people thought they couldn't compete because they didn't have a bullpen. Well, we didn't know what their bullpen was, and they've certainly competed.
You talked about Koxman, how he really played out into being something, and Farnsworth kind of in the same boat. I mean, it closed years ago in Chicago, but it had a couple stops and people didn't feel like he pitched up to what he was supposed to with his stuff. And all of a sudden, now he's got that opportunity down there, and he's doing a great job.
Yankees need base runners here. Farnsworth is ready. If a couple go on, then it would become a save situation. You have another tying run on deck or a 3-run lead in the ninth. Rays bullpen pitches to a 3.88 ERA. Shift is on for Teixeira. 3 infielders on the right side. And he just missed defying the shift as the ball went foul. He also broke his bat.
It could be a sad day, Kenny, when you got things going and you break a bat. Feel like you got a hot bat. Sudden you grab another one that just doesn't, I don't care if it's the same model, same weight, they all feel a little different.
Yeah, as a switch hitter, sometimes you would use different bat from each side. But I didn't do that. I used the same bat for both sides.
I think Bernie did that too. He used the same bat.
Louisville Slugger, D113.
1-2, a wave and a miss, and Teixeira down on strikes. Now let's check in with Bob Lorenz in our studio. Bob. All right, we'll hear from Bob in a couple of minutes, unless the Yankees rally, and then we'll have to wait a little bit longer. And here's Robinson Cano, who was 1 for 3, and he scored the Yankees' only run.
His little hot streak lately, or his hot streak lately, has put him in the top 10 in hits in the American League. He's got 137 now. Say something like that, I guess you got to say who's leading the league in hits. It's Adrian Gonzalez of the Red Sox with 163 coming into tonight's game.
His 12-second rule.
He has passed it twice.
Clock goes off. Do you drop through a trap door on the mound when you don't get it off?
No, you get a ball.
You just get a ball.
It's a ball.
What if you got 5 pitches you can throw and the catcher doesn't get to the right one?
I was going to say
it's going to take time.
You better learn your catcher real well.
And right now, Robbie's not helping matters by stepping out, so these are all things that would have to be addressed.
This is not going to be easy to accomplish.
Nub foul. We like to call it the K. Valentine clock if they actually do put it up. That pitch was 20 seconds.
How many seconds did you say?
12.
You've got all kind of names going in.
That's impossible.
12 seconds?
I think it is. That's.
Well, I mean, if Robbie's going to walk out to the grass every time, it is impossible.
Well, he walks further than that. You ever see sometimes he walks all the way around the umpire and then comes back?
You got to clear the computer up there sometimes.
There's going to have to be major adjustments before you get pitchers to pitch no more than 12 seconds.
The 1-2. Foul back. Well, let's put it this way to finish this point. If you have a speed limit on highways and they never pull you over, who's going to pay attention to the speed limit? If you don't get a ticket, nobody will stop going fast.
All right, answer another question for me.
Yeah.
Why do you even have a speed limit on the Deacon? Because you never go more than 2 miles an hour. Huh? On a Friday afternoon, you cannot push 1.
It's an excellent point.
He's got us there.
Just a question, Michael. You didn't answer.
It's a good answer. I don't know.
There is no answer.
Well, I mean, in the middle of the night, you can go that speed limit.
I'll find out. All right.
The 1-2 to Cano. Battling. Still 1-2. There is a clock in the umpire's hand.
That's Bill Miller, the umpire. He's looking at the clock, checking to see how many seconds it takes Peralta to deliver. I mean, some of these pitchers you could call out for pizza and get there before they throw the next pitch.
Especially here in the Bronx. You get a good one, too. You know, I'm wondering if baseball has actually told the umpires
to
monitor this and see if they can come up with a number that is reasonable.
See, right now you have a discussion between the pitcher and the catcher.
That wouldn't be allowed.
How do you legislate that?
It wouldn't be allowed. Unless they want to take a ball on the count.
No. You got to be able to have a discussion with your pitcher if you're the catcher.
I mean, Jason Varitek, for example, he talks sometimes 4 times.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
the pitcher.
Should you put a limit on the catcher going out to the pitcher as they do with the manager and the pitching coach?
These questions are too complicated for simple.
Well, I'm just bringing up an example. We just saw an example.
The 1-2, swing and a miss. And he strikes out Cano.
Change up there that really moved down and away. See, Robbie saw everything in the counter. He saw a curveball, saw a fastball, then he saw this off-speed changeup. It really had good movement.
I think the best you can hope for here is just to foul this off. Yep. Just spoil it.
So the Yankees down to their final out here in the bottom of the ninth. They trail 5-1. All 5 Rays runs on solo home runs and a career high 5 home runs allowed in one game by CC Sabathia. 3 of them in the 3rd inning. Here's Nick Swisher, Yankees' last chance. There's a strike.
You talked about in the pregame, I was talking about CC Sabathia, how consistent he is. And, you know, he's had back-to-back starts, which you're just not accustomed to seeing. But all of a sudden you look back and it's a big picture. He's still, even with tonight, if he loses tonight, has won 9 out of his last 12 decisions. So even if he has a couple bad games, I mean, he's your horse. He's your number 1. His numbers stand up to anybody in the game.
David Price looking to go 10-10.
I think with CC, Paul, and you mentioned he's got to regain a feel for his changeup.
Yep.
And that's kind of deserted him a little bit the last couple of starts here.
Tim Jones will talk to Sabathia in the clubhouse, so we'll hear what he has to say about this performance and what went wrong.
CC's really good. He throws that changeup in fastball counts. I mean, he's got a great fastball, mid-90s. He's got a great curveball. But you can just sit on that fastball because he will throw fastball in fastball counts. And it just looked like these guys were opening up, especially the lefties.
And that's going to do it as Peralta strikes out the side. And the Yankees go down in order, and the Tampa Bay Rays win this one 5-1. Now, the Yankees have won series after series after series, it seems, but they always put themselves behind the 8 ball. They're now 19-20 in series openers. And it's the first time this year that CC has lost back-to-back decisions or starts. Stick around for the postgame show to find out who tonight's Chevy player of the game is. 5 home runs for the Tampa Bay Rays. That's enough to beat the Yankees tonight. 5-1 on a Friday in the Bronx.